I mean, it's pretty cool and interesting, but also... The most recent Pokemon Direct revealed DLC! Oh joy! But, like, actually, oh joy. In this video, I'm going to explain my opinions on everything, and then get into a little bit of speculation theory mode, and talk about how these new Pokemon are what they are a little bit and such. Now, honestly, I sort of was hoping for this, because a DLC expansion tends to be cheaper than a whole new game with the added stuff. I mean, $30 for 2 new wild areas with new plot and people and supposedly more to do than what the current wild area has? That sure beats $35, $42 if you adjust for inflation, for a handful of boring legendaries and 2 new areas that are like an hour's worth of content. And considering the new price of Sword and Shield, I was worried that they'd still just release a whole new game instead of doing DLC, and thus they were going to charge another $60 for it. Like, egad, could you imagine? Now then, I guess it hasn't even been a day yet, so maybe people haven't had enough time to react in full yet, but so far, people don't seem as mad at this. There are new legendaries, new regional variants, even new regional variants of legendaries, the legendary birds, which is awesome, but it kind of sucks for me. I was going to make that kind of a big point in a fan region I'm making for a big video. Now that idea won't seem as original. But they are also bringing back around 200 older Pokemon, and what do you know? It's just the old models with some nicer textures and light maps again. I mean, modder fans have been showing how easy it is to get the older Pokemon back in, they just need some tweaks. So again, I ask, if it's so little work to do this, then why cut them? Oh! So that they can be sold back to us as DLC. As it stands, this is some EA level stuff, but we'll see just how big the 2 new wild areas really are and just how enjoyable they really are. So did they mean that the 2 of them combined are bigger than the first wild area, or do they mean each one is bigger? Granted, they also have ruins and a dojo and houses and stuff. Like, the entirety of the DLC area is a big open wild area type place. Again, this is an awesome step in the right direction that Pokemon needs to keep going in. Enough with the ugly, linear, narrow corridors, please. Now, they do mention that the main theme of the second DLC is exploration, and fingers crossed that's true. I really hope you'll just stumble onto the ruins and the tree that looks like it doesn't belong, like they said. You know, things like that. And I hope they do mean it's actual exploration, similar to Breath of the Wild, as in there are secrets and special things to do that you have to find and do to unlock certain areas to access them. You know, it's a lot more interesting than what Sword and Shield did. Oh, look at the nearby distance! It's a ruined tower. Walk, walk, walk. And now that I'm 10 feet in front of it, I can tell that it's haunted because 40 Ghastly popped out of the grass. Oh, that's it. Exploration! Maybe the new Reggie Ruins will actually be a dungeon or cave type place. Older Pokemon games had these as mainstays, and in Sword and Shield, there were literally none. I mean, there are caves, but they don't need to be. They could literally be a straight highway and it'd do the same thing. There's no mystery. You just walk through it straight. Wow, a single offshoot path that's super short. Exploration! I am excited for these Reggies, though. It's been a Fakemon concept for a long time, Reggies of more types. And it sets up for Sinnoh remakes even more, with the whole king of the Reggies being Regigigas, who's in Sinnoh. And also, honestly, I'm a bit saddened that the legendary Pokemon are coming back. Them being missing was like the only good part of the Dex cut, because most legendary Pokemon have no reason to be in every freaking region. They aren't special anymore at that point. You mean to tell me that the Guardians of Alola, of which there are 1 of each, went to the opposite side of the planet to explore a dumb cave where kids catch legendary Pokemon? Why are all these legendary Pokemon here? It's just Ultra Space, but worse. It's just a cave. They cut Pokemon for balancing reasons was a decent explanation before, but like, they brought Landorus back. So then, was there literally no reason for them to cut all the Pokemon other than to sell them back to us? And with all the legendaries and 200 more older Pokemon coming back, that only leaves around 200 Pokemon left. Are those just going to be in the next set of DLC? Granted, to defend them a bit, what would be the point of Pokemon DLC without more previously uncatchable Pokemon, you know? Here's this huge new wild area island to explore. There's absolutely no reason for you to explore, though, since you already have 99% of these Pokemon, but here it is. Have fun with your nothing to do. It just make the DLC useless beyond an hour of new story and 2 or 3 new Pokemon. That's lame. That's really lame. And plus, it turns out you don't even need the DLC to use the Pokemon they are bringing back, which is nice. You can have them traded to you. It's nice. All in all, what I'm saying is, I'm glad it's DLC instead of a new $60 version of the game. Plus, this time it looks like they're adding a lot more than previous third versions did. Fingers crossed that it'll be worth it. And maybe in the update that they're gonna do, they'll fix all the bugs and glitches. And graphics. No. Speculation time. The Isle of Armor to the east of Galar. But just how east? Because like this area is extremely Eastern inspired. There's a dojo, Eastern clothing options, and a Kung Fu bear that evolves into a bigger Kung Fu bear. Thank God it's not just a panda. Oh my word! Do you think this is where Eastern Gastrodon is gonna be? It's Cub Fu, from cub as in a baby bear, and Kung Fu. And then it's Urshifu from Ursa, the bear in the sky, Kung Fu, and Shifu, the Cantonese Chinese word for a skillful master. So it's a skillful Kung Fu master, maybe with a little bit of European berserk in there because they wore bear pelts. Right now, all we can really say is that they are Kung Fu bears. You are given a Cub Fu to train on your journey to advance the story, meaning, in reality, you just have to have it in your party and use Dynamax Cannon a couple of times, and then it'll be leveled up. Shouldn't take long at all. Honestly, I'm more interested in Galarian Slowpoke. Why does it have a yellow head? And I can tell that its whole thing is that it's a Slowpoke evolving without the totally a shelter on its tail or head. So that's cool. We'll see how they turn out. Because if they aren't too different, then that ruins an old big theory of mine about how they'd work. I'll link that here. Like, I don't mind if a theory of mine gets disproven. They're just dumb, fun fan theories, but I'd prefer it if it was disproven because of a better explanation rather than, oh, it's wrong because we didn't feel like putting that much thought into it. But I do like the yellow head. It may be a reference to how sometimes hippos get these bright spots, often on the tops of their head. Now, I don't know much about Slowbro, but they did show a bit more about Slowking. I'm thinking it's ghost type. I mean, it's got this eye on the spooky Spiritomb-esque head. Or maybe dark type. Or both. Rather than the wise psychic king, it's an evil tyrant king. I mean, a lot of regional variants seem to go dark type. The 2 new Reggies appear electric and dragon type, which is very interesting. Once we know more, we'll definitely be doing a whole video diving deep into why, but right now I know these are both very magical types. The dragon one has a Charizard skull statue on it, but the Charizard has these weird nose things. Perhaps that's what ancient Age of Dragon Charizards had. And then the electric one is a ball of electricity with plug feet and a distribution transformer bushing joints. So, is this the most recently made Reggie? Made in the Age of Electricity? If you don't remember, Regigigas made the others in the Ice Age, Stone Age, and Iron Age. So, Age of Dragons? Or maybe Dark Ages? And Electrical Age? Why are there ancient ruins then? There are many questions to be had, including why this one looks so bad. I hope it looks better in motion. Maybe it'll move kind of like Rotom, you know, with the electricity zapping around. Regional variants of legendaries is awesome. My guess, Zapdos is swapping flying type for fighting. It's fighting colors, it's aggressive looking, and it has thick and muscly bird legs for a bird. Ground would be my second guess though. Articuno, I assume, is going to be swapping flying for psychic. It looks like a fancy psychic lady with the mask and the colors. Then Moltres is a harder one. Maybe Ghost? In this sketch, it looks like it's a phoenix rising from the ashes, so maybe they took that and ran with it being undead? A ghost? Ghost fire tends to be cooler colors. Pink is more mysterious than red and yellow anyway. And now about this Calyrex. Rex, Latin for king, and calyx, which in zoology is a cup-like cavity or structure. So the way it's holding its crown bush ball thing. Also, maybe it has oryx in the name, which is a thing. It's this thing. Maybe. Its antlers are shaped similar to those of reindeer in the tundra of northern Europe, as in the four-way split. But if you then combined that with the straight and narrow antlers of the Tibetan red deer, which live in the mountains and tundra of Tibet. And, I mean, it has Tibetan Buddhist prayer beads for a necklace, that I assume are actually berries. Just like the big berry crown. Maybe. It's grass type. But what's with the Triforces on the beads? Well, the Triforce symbol was originally the symbol of the Hojo clan in Japan, which formed Japan's first shogunate. You know, so they were the ruling government and all. And on top of being all high and powerful, the Hojo clan were also known for fostering Buddhism in Japan. So we've kind of gone full circle with the whole Buddhist thing, and the powerful king thing. But like, while it's got the face and antlers that work for a deer, it's got the body of a rabbit? And these do kind of look like rabbit ears, I guess. It just seems odd that you'd have a white rabbit starter and then a white rabbit legendary in the same game. But whatever. Snowshoe and Swedish hares are easy species to point to. There's also the woolly hare in Tibet. And come to think of it, the moon has a lot to do with supernatural powers, like psychic energy and such. And Chinese myth references the moon rabbit all the time. Specifically, there's a Buddhist white rabbit which concocts the elixir of life, which grants immortality and cures all ailments, which also just happens to be the ultimate goal in alchemy. And remember, Calyrex, a cup-like structure. Could this Pokemon perhaps be a Poke personification of the Holy Grail? Since the main legendaries reference King Arthur a bunch and all. Plus, while there are of course many different interpretations of it, many believed that through the use of the Holy Grail, one could achieve immortality. And all these references to immortality work well, as this Pokemon basically is too. According to the website, it once ruled the entire Galar region in ancient times, meaning it's existed since ancient times. Like most legendary Pokemon, but still. And all these rabbit and deer parts fall together nicely too because of the jackalope. But jackalopes are American. But if you go back in time further, like to medieval Europe, there's the Wolpertinger, a rabbit-deer hybrid with wings. And well, deerish rabbit with cape-like wings that can levitate? There you go. Plus, Wolpertingers are immortal. Anyway, we'll likely have more details in a later video all about it, so that's that for now. And why is the dojo master named Mustard? Well, I googled it, and Robert Mustard was born in Canada, part of the British Empire, and traveled the world to become a kung fu master instructor, and teaches it in various places around the Western world. And here he is in the UK, which he does often. I have no idea if this is actually where the name comes from, but maybe. Anyway, more details in later videos. I'm excited about the new mystery dungeon too. It's about time we got one, though I am a bit let down that it's a remake and that it's swapping the expressive sprites for just generic models. But you know, my dreams will never come true, and I'm already over it. Thanks for watching. Do you have anything to add? What are your thoughts? Let me know down below, and never stop using your noggin.